Jai Sri Ram, everybody. Welcome to Bharat Marg. Welcome, Dr. Adityanjee. So happy to have you here. Pleased to have you here. And today we have a very important discussion, folks. I have lots of questions to Dr. Adityanjee. He's an expert in the area. I'm sure he will answer it. My thing is five wise countries. We are going to discuss about it. We hear that in recent past from our Canadian Prime Minister for everything he calls five I, five I. We want to know what is five I and what is the. We will know all about their security, surveillance, and success and the agenda behind. Okay, let's hook on. It's going to be really, really very exciting, and we will have discussion with Dr. Adityanjee. If you have any questions, also you can ask because there is no better person folks. I can say you Adityanjee is a psychiatrist by profession. He is a president of Council of Strategic Affairs and that deals with international relations and geopolitics. So it cannot get better, folks. He's also keenly interested in upholding human rights and religious freedom, and is the president of the International Commission for Human Rights and Religious Freedom. Thank you, Dr. Adityanjee. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. And before starting, friends, please make sure to like the video, comment on the video, share the video with as many people as you can, because with your support only we can reach out to maximum number of people. Okay, and we need your support. And also, friends, if you didn't subscribe the channel so far, please do subscribe Bharat Marg, and also press the notification bell so that you get informed along with the heading, so that you can come and join us and ask any question and give your feedback and become the part of the conversation. And also never forget, we send out one dharmic message every day through WhatsApp, and you can subscribe for it by sending a WhatsApp to +1 6479 644790, and it goes in multiple languages. All you have to do is send your name, which language you want, and where you are from. Friends, you know what? You will get to know all about Sanatan Dharma that's happening around the world, and so that you and your family can be really connected to the roots of Sanatan Dharma. Dr. Saab, thank you very much. Thank you for joining.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. And we hear about this five I countries. What are they? Because I have some serious questions on them. I'm just, if you can, once you give the basic thing, if you get started, then I will ask you my questions. Security, surveillance, and success.
So, Sundar Bhai, have you ever heard the term GHQ?
VHQ.
GHQ.
Please explain.
GHQ. Okay. Have you heard the term GCHQ?
No, I will hear it from you. I will learn it from you.
Okay. GCHQ stands for Government Communications Headquarters.
Okay.
Now, Government Communications Headquarters is a British intelligence office.
Mm-hmm.
It was started in 1919.
Okay.
After the First World War, they used to break the Morse code. So it was code breaking center. At that time, it was not called GCHQ. It was called Government Codes and Cipher, something like that. So started in Imperial Britain in 1919 after First World War.
Mm-hmm.
During Second World War, there was an informal arrangement between United States and UK,
Mm-hmm.
or Great Britain, to be precise, for intelligence sharing. Although US had not entered the war in 1939, but as early as 1941, US and UK were collaborating on gathering intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And after the end of the Second World War, there was a secret treaty signed between Britain and USA. It was initially called BRUSA, BRUSA.
Mm-hmm.
It was so secret. The text of this treaty was revealed for the first time from Official Secrets Act in 2010.
Wow.
1946 treaty basically was a treaty of sharing intelligence between the two nations. And then in 1948, Canada joined this treaty. And in 1956, Australia and New Zealand also joined.
Hmm.
So the gradual evolution of this secret intelligence sharing mechanism in Anglo-Saxon alliance. All these five countries, US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, are Caucasian. They are also English speaking. And they are the, one may say, descendants of the British colonial empire, white colonial empire. They are the pretenders to the throne of the empire, one way or the other. So these countries having this treaty arrangement by which they share intelligence amongst each other and about other countries, which includes all kinds of intelligence, signal intelligence, human intelligence, all kinds of surveillance, and its mandate has extended over the years. So GCHQ, Government Communications Headquarters, is a building in Cheltenham in England, where the headquarters is for British Secret Service. So it is an expansion of post World War One, post World War Two colonial project. And basically, these countries, what they are trying to have an Anglo-Saxon dominance of the world. Why it is called Five Eyes? Because five countries, and the intelligence is for US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, eyes only. So it becomes too much, too long, so it's Five Eyes. And it is abbreviated as FVEY. Now, from time to time, other countries have expressed interest, or sometimes Japan has wanted to join, or Israel has wanted to join, or South Korea has wanted to join. But there's no formal six-eye arrangement. But there is a nine-eye arrangement. And in that nine-eye arrangement, four European countries are sharing intelligence. Now, you have these concentric circles. So the Five Eyes is the innermost circle. Then outer to that is the nine eyes, and then there is 14 eyes. 14 eyes is also called SIGINT Seniors Europe. So they actually share signal intelligence with the Five Eyes countries. So it's not the other way around. Nine Eyes and Five Eyes share intelligence with Five Eyes. The
Absolutely.
interesting thing is that they are not supposed to spy on their own citizens. So they have a very good mechanism. Technically, United States by law cannot spy on its own citizens. So it may ask any of the other partners of Five Eyes to spy on the US citizen and share that with the US government. They are not supposed to spy on each other unless they get permission from respective country. But you won't believe each telephone call one makes from these countries. Each telephone call, whether it is domestic or international, is tapped and recorded. There is no concept of privacy in the Five Eye countries. When you went on internet, which website you went, what search engine you used, how long were you there, everything is recorded. So we are living in big brother states. because your online persona is monitored at every point in time, every transaction.
Absolutely. That's why I have some question here.
Yes,
Okay. Um, Ye- Canada, I will more talk in the perspective and recent incidents of Canadian Prism. Okay, if you mind. Okay, see, Canada is part of a five-eye arrangement, like you said, and
yes.
here is a Canadian Prime Minister who is bringing a Nazi
Hmm,
to the Parliament.
hmm.
Okay, and gives a standing ovation.
Yes.
Wasn't he informed by the five eye, hey buddy, he is a part of a Nazi, don't do it? Or they are okay with the Nazis altogether?
So you have raised a very interesting question. Gathering intelligence is one thing, analyzing and understanding that intelligence is another thing, and whether that intelligence leads to credible conclusions is totally a different thing. So, like you said, that Canadian Prime Minister and Speaker of the House of Commons or Parliament committed a Himalayan blunder in honoring and felicitating an 98-year-old Nazi war criminal who had been living in Canada, uh, Yaroslav Hunka, to the extent that the next day or when the story broke out, they had to apologize, etc. So, this is not the first instance when the intelligence possibly gathered, shared, or unshared has led to fiascos. Where were the Five Eyes countries when United States claimed that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction and waged an illegal war, Second Iraq War, that led to 1 million Iraqi children dying because of sanctions, because of bombings, because of lack of medications? A war that was not supported by United Nations, a war that was touted by General Colin Powell in the United Nations Security Council when he showed the bioweapons labs and said that Iraq had not only nuclear program but also NBC, nuclear biological chemical weapons programs, and purportedly showed the evidence which was all fake. Where was the Five Eye intelligence gathering mechanism when out of 19 9/11 hijackers, 14 from Saudi Arabia were living in United States for years? Where was the intelligence? Where was the intelligence of Five Eye countries that actually monitor every part of the world when a terrorist organization like Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th? So you can claim to have gathered intelligence. How fruitful that intelligence, how credible are the conclusions, who analyzes this intelligence, how this intelligence is gathered, or there are questions. And in absence of transparency, anybody's guess is as good as mine. So I do have questions as to the accuracy and infallibility of the intelligence gathered by the Five Eye countries, which is chiefly electronic surveillance.
Absolutely. Dr. Adityanjee, one more question. Here, again, our infamous Canada Prime Minister, he says there. Okay, let me. The story. There was a poor plumber who was living in British Columbia, Surrey, British Columbia, and he was leading a Gurudwara by name Guru Nanak Gurudwara. Okay, there we did a biggest expose on Gurudwara. Actually, we didn't do it. We just covered the event that was done by Ramneet Singh Bittu of a Congress MP from India, who did this expose in Indian Bharat's Lok Sabha, where he did say that many of the gurudwaras here are owned by terrorists. Okay, so he was saying that, and he was going through it and how many gurudwaras who owns. But keeping that aside, this poor plumber, uh, Harjit Singh Nijjar, who was also president of Guru Nanak Gurudwara, and he gets killed, and our prime minister blames India on the basis of what he calls uh, the intelligence gathered by Five Eyes and shared. But India asks a simple question. Okay, that's great. You have the intelligence. Give us the proof. And today, till today, no proof. What does that mean for the Five Eyes?
Well, it shows some. One thing is that it shows that uh, Justin Pierre James Trudeau, that's the full name of your prime minister, is an incompetent politician and an incompetent prime minister who used on September 18 the expression that there are credible allegations of possible involvement of Indian agents in the murder of this particular person on the floor of Canadian Parliament.
Yeah, as per the reports he got from Five Eye.
Yeah, credible allegations. He didn't say Five Eyes. He just
Uh-huh.
said credible allegations. So when you look at that statement, allegations by whom? That is a question. Who has made these allegations? Trudeau did not tell that. Who judged the credibility of these allegations? He did not specify that. During the week, a story is leaked in New York Times which claims that Canada got the intelligence from Five Eyes countries. So that was a leak. That was not an official statement. And since then, Trudeau has been trying to, beat his drum and not come to the point. Where is the evidence? Well, we cannot share the evidence. Who has the evidence? Who has seen the evidence? You cannot run international relations like this. Either you didn't have the evidence. If you had the evidence, you should have shared it with government of India, which you are refusing to do. It is your word that we have credible allegations. Who has made these allegations? Allegations have been made by terrorists that are citizens of Canada. So
Of course, yeah.
will you accept the allegations of terrorists, wanted terrorists against their Interpol notices, terrorists against whom extradition proceedings were on the way? So this puts actually Trudeau into a very, very bad situation. And of course, it does not speak highly, if at all, the source of that allegation was Five Eye intelligence sharing mechanism. That also shows very poorly about this mechanism. Again, leaks are there. Oh, we tapped the phones of Indian diplomats. So you are making an admission that you committed an international crime by surveilling the diplomats, because you are not supposed to do that under Vienna Convention. Then you try to rationalize that by saying, well, everybody does that, so we do it. In any court of law, if any evidence is gathered illegally, it does not stand a chance.
And these guys were giving cover fire for him too. All the five eye nations, they were giving cover fire for him too.
So there is a perception that Anglo-Saxon countries over the years, and that is very, very clear, have sheltered, harbored, strengthened, supported financially terrorists that have escaped from India. And pretty much all of the Five Eye countries, all the Anglo-Saxon countries are involved in this process. You know, Canada is not unique in that. There are attacks on Indian High Commission in Toronto. Where is the security? Where is Canadian security? They are targeting Indian diplomats. And you say it is freedom of speech. You're putting their home addresses online, you're putting their pictures,
Absolutely.
and you're glorifying assassination of an Indian prime minister and exhorting the population of Canada to do the same, or certain adherents of a faith to do the same with the current prime minister.
Absolutely.
What does that tell you about Canadian governments, its credibility and its incompetence?
Definitely, Dr. Saab. I have coming back to this five eye thing. Okay, this is another important thing. They have all the intelligence report, but the day the Gaza hospital was attacked, okay, the parking lot rather, they said 500 to 1,000 people died. Then the report came, it was like 5 to 50 people died in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But my question is simple: the Canadian prime minister goes on blasting Israel, saying you cannot be like this, giving all the lecture, th- and then he backtracks. What is the five eye now about?
I mean, it shows that again, this guy is very immature. Canada does deserve probably a better prime minister. It's the quirk of electoral politics and vote bank politics that this guy is, second time and then third time prime minister with outside support from NDP of a Khalistani supporter. And he has to do the bidding of his support base, otherwise, he's no longer the prime minister. But it's a travesty that a democratic country like Canada has a prime minister whose only claim to fame is that he shares the last name with a former prime minister, uh, and was pushed into politics because his party, Liberal Party, felt that he would be a vote catcher, or they will,
He
capitalize
he
on the
looks
last name.
he looks handsome. They said to become a prime minister.
Yeah, and they will capitalize on the last name. So we are seeing dynasticism in the democracy, in a Western democracy. Uh, but the number of major blunders this guy has done, probably he'll be on his way out in 2025 when the next elections are due.
But my question to you is very specific, doctor. That is, we have been informed or through a leak that he was not consulted after during the Israel war. This thing also, he was left out of the whole five eye thing, and was he not given the information that the Gaza was attacked by Israel before he went further openly against Israel? Or he didn't understand he was given an intelligence report, but he didn't have time or understanding to go through it? What do you think could be the reason? Then he has to backtrack after they pulled his ears.
Well, having that mechanism does not necessarily mean a vote of confidence by the reigning superpower. You know, Trudeau is a loudmouth,
Hmm.
and yes, they can share the intelligence, but doesn't mean that they will share all the intelligence. So Trudeau is a lightweight in this five-eye mechanism, and it's not so unified as one thinks it to be. There have been problems with New Zealand also. New Zealand had reservation about sharing intelligence about Chinese espionage activities because New Zealand was in bed with, you know, China. So there have been problems with Five Eye mechanism, although it is a supranational intelligence organization that is not answerable to anyone. Now, when there is total lack of accountability, mishaps do happen. But Trudeau is has been written off by a lot many people. He is just tolerated. He happens to be Canadian Prime Minister, but I don't think he carries much weight now in international affairs.
Well, okay. My last question to you, Doctor. Last but one. Okay. We hear a lot of information regarding 5i. I want clarification or input if you can give. The one of the biggest accusation against the 5i is was it's one of the most racist organizations.
So
How do you see it?
I use the term Anglo-Saxon alliance.
So that's a
Is the
nice
surveillance
way to put it.
is the surveillance mechanism of the Anglo-Saxon alliance, which is a global project. They were the rulers of the world. They were the empire builders, and they've lost their empires, but they continue to use surveillance system. And these are the five countries that claim to be democratic, but they are spying on their domestic citizens because every telephone call, every text message, every online activity is recorded, is monitored, is surveilled permanently. So you have no concept of privacy if you live in any of these five countries. You cannot escape the eyes of the government or the Five Eyes.
Absolutely, and now you did cover about the Saddam Hussein episode and how the 5-way mechanism not only failed but cheated, rather. And then Gaddafi came, then the Libya they attacked and did the regime change in Gaddafi regime change. Now they are. It looks like they are eyeing on Iran. Uh,
They have geopolitical problems with Iran. Iran is also not a saintly nation. Iran also espouses terrorist outfits abroad, whether it is Hezbollah or support to Hamas. Those are Iran's creations. It is a power game, superpowers play games. Iran is also part of that. Iran is not an innocent bystander here, stander here. Having said that, yes, there is this notion of the Anglo-Saxon alliance that they are superior as compared to anyone else. And they
mhm.
have the moral right to determine the rules. When they say rules-based order, it is their rules, which can be very elastic when it applies to them, but not to others. So they will vouch by democracy, but as I said, there's no right to privacy because everything is being monitored. So you may say it is a racist alliance because the whole colonial projects are racist, projects. And these are the inheritors of the British colonial empire. All these countries were part of the British colonial empire at one time or the other, including United States. It was a British colony. So because of the familiarity, because of the similar language, they feel comfortable with each other and have created an intelligence gathering cartel, you know. So yes, they do bully the countries.
Absolutely.
The
Dr.
example I will
Aditya,
give you is the Falkland Wars. When Britain went to war with Argentina over the island of Malvinas or Falklands, they were provided intelligence by whom? By Five Eye mechanism. So yes, It's understandable when some people will say that it's a racist alliance. I would euphemistically say it is Anglo-Saxon alliance.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Saab, thank you very much for joining and sharing your wisdom. If you have any last word, you have last 30 seconds if you want to say anything. My
Uh,
questions are done.
I will say that, people get sort of overawed that it is 5I intelligence. Intelligence never equals evidence. If you have the evidence, you share the evidence. You cannot just claim that you recorded some phone calls or whatever, and on the base of that, there's a lady by name Jennifer Zhang. She's a Chinese expatriate living in New York City. She's a blogger, human rights monitor, etc., etc. She has made allegations that it is the CCP agents who entered Canada, assassinated Hardeep Singh Nijjar, and left. And these were trained assassins of CCP, and their stated goal was to drive a wedge between the Five Eye countries or the Western Alliance and India, so that India does not come to the assistance of these countries in case of a war over Taiwan. So anybody can make allegations, and this lady has an associate who is based in Canada. Uh, you know, both are expatriate Chinese, bloggers, one based in Canada, one based in New York City in USA. So those are allegations. But do these allegations mean evidence against CCP? That is yet to be evaluated. So what led to Hardeep Singh Nijjar's death or assassination? There are multiple theories. There are theories of gang warfare. He was involved in gang warfare about, who controls the Gurdwara, the money that comes out of it. They were doing drug running, they were doing extortion rackets, things like that. Uh, all the criminal enterprises. So we don't know who killed him, but without having foolproof evidence, it was stupid on part of Justin Trudeau to make that allegation on the floor of Parliament. And I think he wrote his death warrant politically by doing that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dr. Adityanjee, for coming in and sharing your heart. Thank you very much. This means a lot and appreciate it highly. Jai Sri
Pleasure
Krishna.
Pleasure is mine.
Jai Sri Krishna.